Hi, good afternoon. My name is Leonard Arokiam. I will be presenting on the assessment tree on the subject code Leading the Age of Digital Disruption. So this presentation is a snapshot of what is written in the assessment tree report. So it should be looked at and read in conjunction with the assessment tree report. We will be looking at five chapters. Chapter one is on the introduction, the company itself. Chapter two on the problem identification. Chapter three, appraise, we talk about how the stakeholders will be impacted with the digital transformation. Chapter four, we touch on the solution. And five is the reflection and conclusion. So let's begin with the introduction of the company that has been chosen for this assessment, which is MNRB, which stands for Malaysian National Reinsurance Berhad. It is the National Reinsurance Company of Malaysia, founded in 1972. Its headquarters is in Kuala Lumpur with 170 employees, and it has a branch office in Dubai with 10 employees. So the Dubai branch was launched in 2006 to capture the Middle East market. MNRE has a revenue of 3.2 billion with an average 8% annual growth since 2018, which can be seen in the table presented here. So this is a little bit about the team that I lead. I joined MNRB in April 2019. I'm heading the underwriting and claims department, consisting of 9 colleagues. Our department oversees business in Malaysia and Southeast Asia. Currently, our revenue is about RM 95 million today. So on the slide here is also an organization chart. So you can see that we have three business portfolios, which is the motor underwriting and claims, the property underwriting and claims, and liability underwriting and claims. So during my time when I joined Malaysian Re MNRB, um, we were going through COVID-19, the pandemic, and also the industry was going through some changes with the impact of Industry 4.0. So the team and I conducted a pastel analysis to look at how each particular area is impacted with the disruptive changes in the industry. So we can see from the 6 areas that pastel analysis looks at, it shows that technology adoption seems to be the buzzword that is coming to the industry. We have also identified what is the problems with claims processing and the weaknesses that we have found, which can be seen here in the table. So causes such as manual processes, legacies in systems for integration, lack of standardization, complexity of claims, and the fifth was fraudulent claims, which is present very much in the motor portfolio of the insurance companies. So then the second column will be looking at the gaps of each of these causes, and the third column is identifying how digital transformation can address these gaps. Our team wanted to tackle two things, which is the manual process and the fraudulent claims. And here we will be using or adopting AI and machine learning to help with this. One is to help identify fraudulent claims. Second is to speed up the processing time. So when we look at adopting digital transformation, one of the key things that we found, or as also identified and highlighted by the pastel analysis, is data privacy or the use of data, which will impact each of the four stakeholders. So the stakeholders that are involved in this change would be the policyholders first and foremost, and then the employees themselves within MNRB. Then we have the shareholders and also the regulators, because the insurance industry is a very regulated environment. And when we look at data, there is one thing that we grapple with is data biasness. So how do we overcome data biasness? Is first and foremost going through accurate, make sure that the data that we are using is accurate and free of errors. We have to do routine audits on the data. We have to be open and transparent with our data and give access to our policyholders to access their personal data. And we have to have regular engagement with stakeholders, especially the regulator. The solution that we have identified was using AI and machine learning to speed up process of claims and also to identify fraudulent claims. And how this change could be communicated, because communication is one of the key things that should be emphasized when an organization or our department, how is it going through the changes. So looking at MNRB, our own organization, it is a government-linked company, and it fits and it is an oligopolistic organization because it has a monopoly on some of the businesses in Malaysia. So when we look at what change model to use, we identified that the Quarter's eight-step change management model seems to fit within MNRB's environment. So looking at Quarters model as a solution provider to make sure that this digital transformation takes place in a more better way or better managed. We have broken down the steps, the 8 steps, into 3 phases, and for each of these phases, we have what we deem as guiding principles to ensure the smooth transition of the digital transformation. So phase one would involve first and foremost securing the management buy-in, right? So this creates a sense of urgency within the management itself. And why is it important for MNRB? Again, as I mentioned before, it is a top-down approach organization. So securing buy-in from the top would be key. So how do we do this? Is we presented a budget to the board and to have them approve the budget, because without any additional cost, we could not bring this digital transformation to fruition. And we had to identify high caliber teams, and this has to come from the existing key managers itself. So all this would be in phase one. In phase two, it is all about utilizing the team, mobilizing our employees in communicating what are the changes that we will be implementing. And here we have identified senior members to communicate with regulators as well as key customers. And we have also let the senior managers take on simple projects or test cases to be used on key customers of our department. And this is important because we wanted to gather feedback from these key customers. So in phase three is once we have tested the projects with our key customers and we have identified certain feedbacks from them, we can consider this as quick wins. And quick wins are needed when change is initiated in departments. Is The quick wins can boost morale of the other team members as well. And when a change is successful, this change can then be a base to cater for future or to institute future changes in the months to come. Okay, reflecting on what we have done or what I've done as a leader in ensuring this change happens is I look at reflecting on some of the blind spots, such as employee resistance to change, inadequate leadership support, and non-compliance with regulatory requirements. These are the 3 blind spots which I've identified as crucial to be tackled. So how do we tackle the first one, employee resistance to change? If you read the report, there is a mention of one particular employee who is of a certain age group having job security concerns. So how did I go about tackling this? Is having one-on-one communication with this employee and explaining the vision and and communicating the strategy that we have and how she fits into this to allay her fears that she will be replaced once all this change just comes into play. Okay. The second blind spot was inadequate leadership support, and this was done following Kotter's model is to get support from the leadership from the onset, from the beginning itself, and we emphasize on securing or presenting our proposed budget, which was then approved by the board, and this allowed us a bit more freer hand to use these funds to now deploy this change initiative. Third blind spot identified was non-compliance with regulatory requirements, and how we tackle this is to have regular engagement, which help regular engagement with the policyholders, with key customers, especially with regulators. This is important so that we can allay their fears on data privacy, data protection, especially. So regular engagement with key stakeholders was one way to tackle this particular blind spot. We also wanted to ensure that um, whatever changes we made was done in an ethical way. And here I would like to touch on five key aspects of ethical leadership, which is respect others, serve others, show justice, manifest honesty, and build community. And throughout the journey of this digital transformation, I think I, as a leader, has have have gone through the five components here. So, for example, respecting others. Again, talking about the employee who had job concerns. Um, I initiated one-on-one engagement with her to address her concerns, and this probably shows respect to her seniority in the company, in the department itself. Serving others, our focus on why we wanted to implement this change was to serve the customers better. It means we come with solutions that are better to address the customers' changing needs, especially with the onset of COVID-19, especially with Industry 4.0 changing the whole dynamics of insurance itself. Showing justice, again, this relates to how we treated the employee who had concerns with job security. We addressed her concerns. We didn't just neglect her concerns. And I think by doing this to a senior member of the team, boosted morale for the other team members, and the other team members could see that the company is respecting, is concerned with their issues with the new changes that is coming on board. How we manifested honesty is through our communication engagement, transparent communication, transparent engagement with the regulators, with key customers, telling them about what's going to happen, telling them about how we're going to implement the new changes into the claims process, and ensuring that data privacy issues were taken care of. And lastly, build community. Um, the change that we were going to implement is not going to be driven by one person. It has to be driven by the whole team. And this is where, when we look at quarters 8 model, we form a high caliber team consisting of the senior managers to get involved with the vision and the objectives of the change, and also the regular engagement, as mentioned before, with the key stakeholders. I think this kind of engagement build a community, or build a trust with our stakeholders here. I've also included some of the references which can also be found in the written report here. So these are the references that we would refer to in the written report. So this is just for information. And with that, I would like to end the presentation. And thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to this short presentation. Thank you.